Timmy, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
How you doing today, Chris? Great listening to you. Old fan from the 66 days.
Good to have you aboard, Tim. Thank you. Nice to have you with us. What's on your mind now? Let me hear.
Talk about the Mets real quick. So I'm very optimistic with a great start, but I know that doesn't mean that they're going to, make the playoffs just because of that. I'm just thinking, what are your thoughts on this 3-game series with the Nationals? 2 out of 3, does that put them in a better mental state? If Cespedes gets hot, so they can ride this a little bit longer?
Well, listen, Timmy, again, it's awfully early, but you like the fact and good call that you're 7 games ahead. The Nationals play the Mets. I'll have some comments at that at 5 o'clock. I don't think it's imperative for the Mets to sweep, but you love to win the series. You got DeGrom tonight, Hellickson for them, no Scherzer, no Strasburg. You can win 2 out of 3. You'd be 14-3, and they would be 8-11. You'd be in good shape. Here's Steve in North Carolina. Mad Dog Unleashed for him. Stevie, good afternoon.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hello, Steve. Nice to talk to you. What's on your mind, pal?
Chris, on the schedule, I know you're a schedule nut.
All right.
But I think this isn't rocket science. There's enough teams in warm weather and domes for people to go and do 20 games in April, because where's the money come from for these, 20 games in April?
I get it, but the Angels don't want to play 20 games in April, Steve, because 20 games means they have to play in the middle of the summer. They got to play 20 games on the road in July, and that's the best time to draw fans. Kids are out of school. They can get 35,000 a night. Although the weather's good, on April 21st, weeknight, nobody's going to go watch the Angels play Toronto. So that's the problem. The warm weather cities don't want all the home games. Go ahead.
I understand that, Chris. But the point is, there's 32 games in a partnership. So instead of the 32 partners getting together and making accommodations for each other, it looks like hell for the first month of the season, where you're losing people. And they're not losing money because you say, and it's true, the money comes from the TV rights. So people are watching locally TV. How many people come to the gate really is not as relevant as it maybe once was.
I agree, yes.
So,
go ahead, I'm listening. To finish up there, you're on the right path, Steve. So you want to blame the teams for not making deals with one another to make sure these games can get played?
Yeah, I can't understand how. Like yesterday, the Phillies were playing in Tampa, and Tampa was already up at the Mets. Like, why was Tampa up at the Mets? Doesn't make any sense.
They're up at the Yankees, but yes, I understand.
They're up at the Yankees. It doesn't make any sense.
Again, Steve, I understand that, but if you're going to play baseball the first 2.5, 3 weeks of the season, and only in domes and in only warm weather sites, that's going to give the teams that play in cold weather a big advantage. They're going to get all their road games out of the way, and then in June, July, August, and September, they're going to get a lot more home games when the games theoretically are more significant. And they can also draw better because there's more people available to go to games. Nobody wants to go to baseball games in Wrigley Field in the middle of April against Atlanta, but they will go to those games in June. Listen, it's a major problem. I understand. Tom in Connecticut, he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Tommy, good afternoon. What's going on?
Hey, Doggy, how you doing?
Hello, Tom. Nice to talk to you. What's on your mind today, pal? What do you have?
Oh, first off, Paul George. How about Robert Horry for a comparison?
Little better. George is better than Horry. He's a better scorer than Horry was. Horry was a guy that, was very underrated, was a great player on good teams. George is a number 2 guy. George's game last night was phenomenal. He's a great shooter. He's good at going to the basket. George is a great offensive player. And everybody says he's good defensively. I wouldn't know that because unless you're watching film, who the hell knows? But when he plays like that, OKC can beat anybody. There's no question about it. Go ahead.
The other thing, the last guy with the schedule, you're absolutely right. You can't have all the warm weather teams playing early because they're not going to draw as much because baseball's not the foremost thing on everybody's mind. We're still basketball bound. And you're also going to have problems, the other way around. There's not going to be enough home games for these guys.
It's, the schedule's a giant jigsaw puzzle. I don't know if there is a way to really do it perfectly. Good call, Tom. But to me, I know this is a abnormal weather. I understand that. But to me, they got 23 postponements already. To me, baseball's got to say to themselves, okay, do we want 6 cities who play in winter climates the first 15 days of the season playing series against teams that only make one trip in? And that is what you had this weekend. Washington, Kansas City, the Mets, Detroit, Toronto, and Wrigley Field. I'm sorry, Detroit, Cleveland, and Wrigley Field. That to me is, I understand there's got to be a couple, not 6. Not 6. Steve Torrey is in the house.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hi.
You're
Steve.
right. It's unusual circumstances, but I think what it does is that it makes them, I would think, you would know better than me with your connections to baseball, but I would think now that this will force them to at least look into this to prevent this from happening, because it's embarrassing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I know it's unusual, but we still have 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks to go for this month, and this is easily going to shatter the most postponements you've ever had in the first month of the season.
I don't know what, Steve, it's mind-boggling. With the weather, you can't count on the weather like you could 15, 30, 40 years ago, where you kind of fit, when you got the mid-April, you get some decent days. We've had 2 nice days. I'm not complaining. It's the way it is. We don't live in San Diego. We've had 2 nice days. Since I've been back from Grenada, March 5th, there have been 2 nice days. We had a nice day on Friday, and Saturday until about 4 o'clock, and then I froze.
You're not exaggerating. That's actually fact. We've had 2 nice days.
We've had 2 nice days in a month and a half, and so I can't kill baseball entirely for that. But to me, baseball's got to use their noodles a little bit and realize, my God, do we want to have 6 cities? I mean, do the Yankees have to go to Detroit on April 10th? Is that necessary, for crying out loud?
Well, it's crazy.
I mean, do the Brewers have to come to Citi Field in the middle of April? Does Colorado have to play Does Colorado have to play at Washington? I mean, do the Braves have to go to Wrigley Field? I mean, I don't get it. There's got to be a better solution. Angels on Saturday night, Steve. That was ridiculous. Seeing that weather in Kansas City.
Oh, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, blowing snow. And looks like there's about 2,000 people. And that's the other thing. You forget about these poor fans that have to deal with this nonsense. It's terrible.
And there's nobody at the games. It looks terrible. I've never seen more empty ballparks in all my life. It's been unbelievable. Steve, they had 14,000 for fireworks night Saturday night at Citi Field for Milwaukee when they're 11-1.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know what the crowd was on Friday in Detroit. You can tell me. Maybe they had a good crowd. I don't know what the crowd was.
I don't know what it was, but on television it didn't look like, honestly, more than, I would say 10,000 would be a lot, honestly. I mean, and it was relatively close a lot of people might have left when it was 6-1, but, even the seats behind the dugout late in the game, I mean, who's going to go to that? Why would you?
And 2 other things that you were not aware of, probably. Baseball wanted to play yesterday in Kansas City because of Ohtani pitching, and finally they were convinced not to play the game. And baseball didn't want the Yankees to play the day-night doubleheader, you probably read this, on June 4th in Detroit, because that's draft night, and they want no games at 7 o'clock. But the Yankees don't want to play those 2 games in Detroit in July, August, and September with the day off. So they forced baseball to give up exclusivity for their draft on that Monday night, June 4th. Were you aware of that?
I did not. I knew the first part of what you said, but I did not know about the draft stuff. That I did not know. I knew about Ohtani.
There's only 3 games that June 4th, and they're all at 10 o'clock, and now the Yankees will play at 7. But
right, because the Yankees are coming back from Baltimore, and they were going to Toronto anyway, so it made sense.
So why they can't play a straight-up doubleheader, I have no idea, but the Tigers wouldn't give up the gate. There you go.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
It's stupid.
What a mess.
Here's Stevie's Sports Bite. Kevin Lockley in a sec. Steve first here on Mad Dog.